Hi, everyone, back to Evermore YouTube channel. It's Chris back with another Rumour Has It video. God, it's been a while since we've done this. I'll explain why in a minute. And it's all about players linked to Newcastle United in the coming transfer windows. We've got a hell of a player to talk about today. Is it true? Is it false? We don't really know. We don't do ITK nonsense here. We just talk about players who are linked in the media. And this lad has been linked in the media, and he's a hell of a footballer. We've already seen him in the Premier League before, and he did very, very well the last time he was here. So we'll get stuck right into that in a second. Before we do, a little reminder, if you haven't already, smash subscribe. I'd love you to come and join us. Help get us to that 9,000 subscriber mark. We're so close. We've got a mint prize for you to win. Once we get to 9K, we'll do a prize draw for you. It is the classic McEwen's Newcastle United shirt worn by the likes of Andy Cole and Peter Beardsley under the Kevin Keegan entertainment era. Brilliant shirt. Could be yours if you help get us to 9K and then enter that prize video when we do it. So let's get stuck in. Who am I talking about today? Well, I'm talking about this lad right here. You recognize him. It's Leroy Sane, who used to play for Manchester City a few years back, and then he went over to Bayern Munich. He's done very, very well there, to be honest with you. I think 175 appearances, 48 goals and 50 assists along the way. And he's a very, very good footballer, 28 years old, at the peak of his powers. And apparently Newcastle have been given encouragement that this deal could be a possibility. Now, Leroy Sané hasn't signed a new contract with Bayern Munich. And the one thing that worries me here is that apparently it's his wages that are causing the issue. Now, we all know how stingy we are with wages. And he has been offered apparently to the Premier League and to Newcastle United as well. And they've been given some encouragement because he's only got 10 months left on his contract, even though Bayern Munich have opened negotiations to renew the deal with himself. It hasn't quite come through. Arsenal were sniffing around him in the window just gone there, but they ended up with Raheem Sterling. But the situation here is Sané could be up for grabs as a free agent when his contract runs out. And obviously when the January window comes along, it'll be the last chance that Bayern Munich get to get a little bit of cash for the lad. So let's have a look at his stats there in terms of the red, amber, greens as Mark does in his super duper computer. And he is a hell of a footballer. There's no doubt about that whatsoever. You can see his stats are very, very high, especially in the key areas where it matters, in assists, in his assisted goals. You can see he's right up in the 90s on that one. His shot creation actions, he's right up in the 89th percentile. Pass completion, he's up in the 80s as well. Successful take-ons, which is a big thing, he's in the 96th percentile. Touches, 76. Progressive passes as well in the 86th percentile. Not very good defensively, though, as you can clearly see. So that may put Eddie Howe off him in terms of the old tracking back wingers that Eddie Howe seems to love. But we all know that Leroy Sané is a really good footballer. Pace, power, skill. The boy gets goals as well. There's no doubt about it at all. In terms of his career, he played 135 times for Man City. As you can see, the last time he was in the Premier League, 39 goals and 43 assists along the way. And prior to that, 13 goals and 57 appearances for Schalke with 8 assists as well. You can see he's been capped by Germany multiple times. And he's a really good player. He's quick, he's skillful. Before everyone starts, he's left-footed. He played 30 times on the right wing for Bayern Munich last season. He got 8 goals and 4 assists, 11 times as a left winger, only 2 goals and 9 assists. So the boy can play on the right wing, which is exactly what we need. But it's another left-footer. We've already got, obviously Gordon and Barnes, who like to cut inside on that right peg, but obviously Leroy Sané will be on the other side, cutting on the left peg. So for me, I think he's a very, very talented footballer. Transfer market got him valued about 70 million euro. If he's going to be gone for free, potentially Bayern Munich might be looking to get, say, 40 million from him or something like that, which is good business, in my opinion, for a player of his quality. But I've become really disenchanted with the Newcastle United transfer ongoings or offgoings, shall we say, certainly since the last window. So I'm not entirely sure how plausible this deal is. And I get a bit of a whiff of agent just either trying to get a better deal at Bayern Munich or sniffing out what they would call bigger clubs than Newcastle United along the way. But listen, what would Leroy Sané do for Newcastle? He would massively improve the squad because he's a quality player. He's a winner. He's won things at Man City. He's won things at Bayern Munich. He's a German international. He's a quality player. He can go on the inside, the outside. He's got skill. He's got strength. He can score from distance. He can set up loads of goals. Just ask Harry Kane, ask Aguero. This boy can do it all. And that's what Newcastle United need. We need quality players in this team because the likes of Jacob Murphy and Miguel Almiron just aren't good enough on that right-hand side. And if you had Leroy Sané on that right-hand side, Gordon on the left potentially with Barnes in reserve, you've got a hell of a wide position there situation at the minute. Sané can play as an attacking midfielder, probably through the middle of the push, really, if you were really struggling. But you don't want to have a repeat of what's going on with Anthony Gordon on the other side because, my God, do we need a centre forward. But does he have an attitude problem? Is that why he left Manchester City? We don't know. Maybe which is a case of selling them and banking in the money for them and keeping their financials above board, which is what, everyone has to do these days. But let us know in the comments below what you guys think about Leroy Sané. Would you take him in Newcastle United? I sure as shit would, but I'm not entirely sure that this is particularly going to happen, and this is the kind of deal that Newcastle will be able to do. Now, that might change completely if Manchester City are let off with the 115 charges, because it could be free fucking reign for Newcastle to go and sign players like Leroy Sané and pay him 250 grand a week if he wants to play for Newcastle United, because the PIF money is a plentiful, but they're not allowed to spend it because of all the regulations in the Premier League. So that'll be really interesting to see what happens with the Manchester City court case, and it could have a knock-on effect to the kind of players that Newcastle United go for in January and in the summer. But given the state of the last transfer window, my confidence is rock bottom of the football club's transfer strategy. It really, really is. With Mitchell and Eales, I've completely lost all faith in it. I see deals like this. I like to talk about it because I like to engage and like to hear what you guys have to say about it. Let us know in the comments below what you think about the Sané deal. Would you have him? I definitely would. But I'm just not sure that this lot upstairs will be able to pull this deal off. I really, really don't. And would Eddie Howe want him as a player? He's a quality player, but if he doesn't track back and he doesn't get stuck in, and he maybe has got a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, maybe Eddie doesn't want him as a player. But then the question is, will Eddie be here come the end of the season? It throws open so many different angles. But Leroy Sané linked to Newcastle United, I'll definitely have him. He's a brilliant player, goals and assists. That's what we need that why. But let us know in the comments below what you guys think about the deal. Love to hear from you. Smash a like, help the channel grow, subscribe, help get us to 9K. We'll be back with some more rumor hazards when they break. It's all about what's reported in the press. No ITKs here. I've even just told you I don't think this one's probably going to happen. I think it's an agent tie kicking exercise, but we'll still talk to you about it. Put them through a super duper stack computer and let you know what we think if Newcastle United were to sign them. If you like this kind of thing, guys, subscribe, hang on a bit longer, keep it evermore. We'll be back soon. See you later.